Mute me on your end, because I can't. If I mute to you, it mutes to everything on here. Okay, we are live. Okay. Am I muted to you still? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. I think that's everything there. I'm talking right now. I don't know if it's coming through. The audience mix does not look like it is. You can hear me on the stream. Okay, so I know you can. I'm looking at audience mix, which is in the mixer for OBS, and there's nothing coming through on it. The only thing that's coming through right now is music. That's where it's coming into. I can see that. Huh. Okay. That's what I'm not playing music. That's what's crazy. Here, let me just share this with you really quick. So if I pull this up, you see how music is moving with my voice on Discord? Oh, weird. Anyway, we don't have to do that. We can just get in here and do this. Let me just live. That's where it's coming from though. I just learned. Okay, I just figured that out. That's good. That is good. All right, you all just heard a lot. Sorry about that. This is the Casual Hour. I'm Bobby. You've been hearing me for a minute, and you've heard Chase trying to help me. We've had a if you've been listening to our show for any period of time over the last 2 months, before our stream starts, I've been hot on the mic, and it now makes sense where Chase is like,
let me tell you, even when you're even when it does
hot,
work, you're always
I'm hot when it's not, and I'm hot when I shouldn't be. Look, some people are born with it, Chase. I can't help it. I'm hot. But no, you would be like, oh, I can hear you, but it's very faint, because we would have music playing, and for some reason on that, it had my voice coming through the music channel, which would have been drowned out by the music. So I know where it's at. I'll fix it after this. But this is I'm so excited to talk to you tonight for a few reasons. One, we haven't had a good What You've Been Playing for a while.
We really haven't. Like, holy shit, we've had so many games to talk about.
I know.
But we've had, tornadoes. And,
I know, man.
And
it's a lot.
The Keeleys.
The Keeleys, yes.
We've had so many things happen that have kept us from doing a proper thing. We had our Xbox shows. We had all that stuff. Like, we just have not had time to sit down and go, hey man, what have you been playing? And this is finally going to be the night we get to do it.
We do, and we got a lot of stuff to get through. But one of the things I wanted to let's do 3 minutes here tops. I did not watch the Nintendo Direct for Donkey Kong Bananza. Is that what it is? Bonanza? Is that?
It was 17 minutes long, Bobby. Come on.
Dude, I was so busy at work today. So let me ask a couple questions here. What was I have 3 questions I'll ask. What was the biggest surprise for you personally watching that today?
The story, I think, is the most surprising thing, in that it has one, and it's
very narrative focused.
It seems like it, yeah.
Okay.
Or it seems like there's way more narrative than you would expect from a Nintendo game.
Sure. Okay.
And also, I don't want to be critical right off the bat, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff that was in that Direct.
Yeah.
It's kind of just, I think Nintendo's learned some bad lessons from making movies recently. Because the story of Donkey Kong Bananza, whatever, is 100% just, we watched Wreck-It Ralph and we thought we should put that into a video game.
Oh.
Which I know, Wreck-It Ralph is like, oh, what if Donkey Kong was a person?
He is a person. Thank you very much. He has feelings.
Fair enough. A human.
A human.
But what if now Wreck-It Ralph turned back into Donkey Kong, and Pauline was now playing the role of Sarah?
Okay. So Pauline is the thing on his, because wasn't
Pauline is his Tui to his banjo. Yes.
Fair. Okay.
Or
Um,
Katooie. Sorry, his Kazooie. Yeah, Tooie's a different thing.
did this excite you more or less about the game watching this today?
But both.
Both. Okay.
Because the narrative stuff really is a miss for me. Like I think a lot of it is saccharine and kind of silly and makes me feel like I'm watching a DreamWorks movie. Even like the villains they show feel like DreamWorks
Oh
villains,
wait, are you telling me
and
that this could be maybe ripe for the design that we'll see in a
right,
standalone
nice,
Donkey
good
Kong?
word, good word,
Yeah.
good use of word.
Thank you.
Sure, I think they could easily make a Donkey Kong movie out of this if they
Is
wanted to.
And here's my third question for you, and maybe the most important one for me in my excitement for this.
Mhm.
Did they change Donkey Kong to sound like Seth Rogen in this game?
No, Donkey Kong still is just oohing and ahhing,
Okay.
ooh and
Okay.
ahhing.
Okay.
But I did learn a few other pertinent pieces of information. One,
Okay.
there are outfits that you can put Donkey Kong in. So even though you saw him with the overalls before, that is just one of the looks he will
Oh,
be in,
wait,
and
do
you
you think
can do classic naked Kong if you want. So
I only
you
like
can
my
do Donkey
Kong
Kong.
naked? Thank you for that.
Exactly.
Second
I
point
knew
on
that.
that.
I knew that about you.
Do you mean to tell me that potentially the two characters in Mario Kart World who only have one other outfit right now may potentially have some sort of tie-in where the Mario Kart World, which does focus on a lot of different outfits for their characters, and you're telling me that there's a whole character outfit selection in this now?
It's certainly possible. There are outfits for both
Oh,
Donkey Kong and for Pauline,
look at that brand synergy from Nintendo.
and you can even change the color of Donkey Kong's fur. But there are some like RPG elements to it where different outfits can change his abilities a little bit.
Donkey Kong was
Um,
truly held back by the Switch.
yes. Uh, so here, the interesting thing, the positive thing for me is that the game itself looks really ambitious.
Okay.
The I They showed this a little bit in the initial trailer, but they really dived into it here in this one in the direct, where you are really able to destroy the whole goddamn world. Um, you're able to
Like
rip pieces.
Minecraft level of destruction?
Yeah, yeah. Like you're ripping up pieces
Huh.
of rock from the world. You're smashing that rock into other rock. You're able to tunnel. The whole game is about tunneling further and further into the earth.
Like Tears of the
Uh,
Kingdom?
yeah, kinda. But like, what if Tears of the Kingdom went down even further? Like,
Damn.
each is a different world underneath. I'm gonna say it's probably more like uh, um, um, a Mario Odyssey, except that between each world you're just digging through another layer. Less
I
like a Zelda where you are
Yeah.
actively going between the two, and more like, oh, just the next level
Huh.
is further down.
Do you think this is the fourth question I shouldn't have been asking, but I'm going to anyway.
Okay.
Do you feel like this should have been the launch title for the Switch 2 compared to Mario Kart World?
I mean, I think it is.
Yeah.
As much as Mario Kart is kind of the de facto one by
Yeah.
being first,
The pack in
this
almost.
this is like the real one. This
Okay.
is a lot of people even said like the Switch launch doesn't start until Donkey Kong comes out. Looking at this thing, because this does look like the new ambitious Nintendo game that shows off what maybe you wouldn't have been able to do on the Switch. Whereas Mario Kart felt like another Mario Kart game
I don't know if
with
you
a little added stuff on it.
I didn't watch this, but when I did watch the trailer when they talked about the game coming out, like it kind of felt like, oh, Nintendo's trying to like. It's funny that Mario was an inspiration for Astrobot, but I think Astrobot being so fresh and modern, like I kind of felt like Donkey Kong was maybe aping. Oh my god, towards some of that.
You just can't stop
I
yourself.
can't stop myself. You should pay me to do this. Aping towards being Astrobot. Is that fair? Is that
No, I think it definitely feels more like a continuation of the stuff that happened in Mario Odyssey.
okay?
But
That's fair.
especially when it comes to like the freedom of movement stuff you would get from a Mario Odyssey, the cap throw, the
Yeah, yeah,
dash,
yeah,
the way you're able to do chain jumps into things.
yeah.
And it seems like you're going to have a lot of those kind of things in this Donkey Kong game as well, where you're able to roll into a jump, into a flip. You also have very Tears of the Kingdom style. Oh, hey, I've got this summon thing that I can get. but the summon is Donkey Kong kind of transforms himself into a different thing for a limited amount of time. So he can transform himself into
Instead of like getting on the rhino or getting on the ostrich or the dolphin or the
like now he can like get the power of an ostrich that lets him that lets him glide and fly in the air. He gets the power of a zebra that lets him run over water. He gets the power of this even bigger ape that allows him to smash through even more stuff.
Any other Kongs there?
They showed Cranky.
Okay.
Cranky and Rambi, the rhino.
Yeah.
I don't think you're able to ride Rambi, but it seems like Cranky and Rambi will just kind of like be around in the levels, and you can go talk to them and maybe do missions for them. I didn't see any Diddy, but it does.
Nobody's seeing. We don't need any more Diddy right now.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Diddy's been blacklisted. He's going through a rebrand.
Yeah, that's a good point. But it really does seem like a buddy thing between Pauline and Donkey Kong.
All right,
which could be interesting. I think from a mechanical standpoint, it looks really interesting. I'm generally kind of down on games that just let you break the world like this because it almost seems a little too easy.
Am I gonna like this?
Or what?
I'm gonna like it, aren't I?
Oh, absolutely. You like everything, so obviously. But you know, I think you will like this. And I probably think that I will end up liking this.
Day one.
I do have a couple of reservations, but I do think there is a lot of interesting ground to tread with the
and break apparently
destruction stuff and like smashing through things, and you get like a sonar kind of thing to find stuff in the ground, and then you can go and smash the ground to dig those things up. It does seem interesting. It also seems interesting that you're fighting guys that are like made of stone, and you're ripping the stone off them and then smashing them with their own stones. So it does seem like there is a lot of clever stuff you could do with that.
Okay.
But it also kind of seems like the answer to everything is just going to be, what if I smashed it? What if I smashed this other thing to smash it? And I trust Nintendo to do something a little bit more interesting than that.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like that could be something that goes on. It looks nice. It looks nice. I'm interested to learn more and maybe give it a shot myself.
Yeah.
But it definitely does feel like the launch title that Mario Kart definitely was not.
I'm excited to check it out for sure. All right, let's get into what we've been playing. Before I talk about the two games I'm here to, I'm gonna do a little activity with you. I'm going to list my 6 standout games from the Steam Next Fest, and next week I will tell you more about whichever one or two of these games you'd like to know more about, if any of them. I played Baby Steps. I played Jump Ship. I played Possessors. I played Mina and the Hollower. You were there for that. I played Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault. I played Starbirds. I played more, but these are the ones that are notable for me on like, hey, these are worth being on your radar. So I'll tell you more about those.
I think I'm only aware of half of those games. Like, at least by the names, I don't know what some of those are.
Yeah.
I'd be more interested in hearing about more on Baby Steps.
Yeah.
That one seems interesting to me.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
I wonder what you can get out of that from a demo. How they build the slice of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll share more next week on those. This week though,
you play more Mina and the Hollower than what we played.
I played a little bit more just to say like, because I felt I was struggling trying to maintain conversation and the stream and that. So
yeah, I felt like the stream we did, while interesting, maybe did a slight disservice to the potential of the game, and I was interested to see if maybe if you played more of it, did you get more out of it? For sure.
It's cool. I really like Yacht Club. I want to see what they do with that. I'm excited it's not Shovel Knight. No shade to Shovel Knight. Yeah. So yeah, the Next Fest was great. You can actually go watch our VOD over on here on Twitch or on YouTube, wherever you're watching right now. But I got 2 games that I'm really excited to talk about with you tonight. And I'm just going to tell you right now, buckle up, Chase, because you're not going to like this. One of them you might, though. We'll start with the one I know you won't like, and that's Dune Awakening.
Dune?
I think like this is a very Muad'Dib. There is little Muad'Dibs in the game, and I'm not talking about Pesky Paul. No Pesky Paul, no rat, desert rat, tiny desert rat. No, none of that out there in the in the sand. There is a threat though. There's a lot of threats. This is a game where Paul Atreides does not exist. He's not been born. I don't know if this is like one of the visions that, and I will tell everybody right now, like my level of Dune is, I think the movies that have recently come out are awesome, but I'm not reading the lore on it. Like, I'm not a Dune fanatic by any stretch. I think it's cool.
I have purchased some of the books.
Okay.
And at some point I will read them. They are not on my immediate radar, but I do feel like it's something I probably should do.
This is very, very, very much like, it looks just like the shit from the recent movies is what they're going for. And it's smart. This is an MMO survival game. And I have played this thus far solo. And I'm having a hell of a time doing that. It's great. Hell of a good time. It does not feel like World of Warcraft or other MMOs that I've played. Like, this just feels the way that like Destiny would, where you would be out doing something and maybe somebody would pop by and you might be raiding the same area. They shoot a few of the people, they get their loot chest and they go about their thing. Like, that's kind of what it's been so far. You create a character and you start off with a mentor with a different like area of interest. They're basically skill trees. You can unlock all of those very early, and there's different tiers which require you to meet new experts in that area, which I think is a fun way to, like, you're in a new area, there's going to be somebody here who also is like a sword master. Maybe you should go and find them and talk to them about this.
Do you get the option to be part of different factions?
You do. Okay. There's a big thing that goes into that. I'm actually, like that's the two main family houses, the Harkonnens and is it a trade? Paul, what's the House of Atreides, right? That's what they go by. That's yes. May my knife chip and shatter, right? Sure. Those guys.
I honestly do not remember.
So you can align yourself with either one of the houses, and the way that starts to get like into the house, it's a series of quest lines that you do, and then like once you earn enough loyalty with them, and it's nice because you can do both for a bit before you have to commit to one of those. But apparently and allegedly, I haven't gotten there yet. Once you do that, there are some influences on a week by week level, depending on how each house performs, that might influence the world on like certain activities or things that go there. So there's a nice little like tug of war happening. It very much is a survival game, but it doesn't feel as grating as like, and I like this stuff in games, but I got to go find a can of beans and I need to eat and get my rest and do that. Like, those are not things that you have to do here. The survival elements really come down to heat, water, and the worm. That's it. And so all of those from a lore standpoint really kind of align with Dune, and the whole like stilt suits that you can get in the movies where like it rehydrates you. You're crafting those. When you kill enemies, you can harvest their blood and then put that blood into a water purifier back in your base when you're early in the game. And all these things become much easier to maintain. The biomes that you go into, like they have it broken off that way. That's how you're in a new heat biome. Okay, cool. I went to the northern part of the map. It's a little bit hotter here. I need to have better gear to withstand the heat or have more water with me. And then the worm. Like, there's a lot of openness early in the game where you're on foot, and then you get one of the sand speeders, which is like the trike that you see in the game or in the movie. But then you can get the is it ornithopter? What the fuck is the name of their helicopters? I can't remember that. They look like dragonflies.
0-2 artifact creature. 0 mana to cast.
That's fair. You don't want to talk about how the ship's like.
Yes, yeah, they look like little dragonflies.
So you can
dragonflies?
No, I don't think that's what they are.
Okay.
But you can end up crafting one of those, and then that really changes how the game plays. But from like an open world, just like
an ornithopter. How about that?
It is an ornithopter. That's
Dune. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can end up crafting those. Your base, like it's very much like V Rising, and I played a lot of V Rising here on the show. I think that's the closest game I could compare it to, where you could be playing that with other people. You're building a base. Your base requires blood to basically have an aura protection and not decay. Same thing here. Sandstorms come through. If you leave your shit out, it gets ruined. Your base, if you don't have batteries in it, the shield will deplete. Combat's awesome in it. You have a very wide range of weapons that you can get really good at. I've got the suspense belt, I think, something like that. Can't remember the exact name of that either. I think there's like a specific Dune name for the type of belt you wear. That in the movie how they kind of float and fly into the air and do that. Like that belt grants you that ability, or you can get a belt like, hey, if you jump off something, you don't take fall damage. So I got that. And then one of the classes is more of a trooper, and that gave you this like quick arm grapple pull. So if I'm like if I do that and I propel myself off of a dune, I then hit the belt and kind of float, and I can get over the desert pretty quick without my vehicle, which is nice. But there's some really good quality of life things here on just like the way that you'll start to craft and build gear. And you do need to go and like break down, okay, you had granite, now you've got iron, now you got steel, now you got aluminum. And that's how you get like bigger and better base pieces. There's some really big shit in there, man. Like some big fucking stuff happening with like guilds and people who have built just these huge world bases that are a lot of fun to go by and check out. And you can set your base to like, I can have my base open for people to walk in if I want, but have all my chests locked down. And it's based off of like what level of administration. So if you and I were playing, I could say like, hey, and anybody else in our party, they can't go through the chest. They don't get to ride on the vehicles, but you get to do that stuff, which is fun. The game itself is, I think, $50 to start off with. Let me double check here. The game will set you back $49.99 if you buy the standard. There's a deluxe version and an ultimate edition that has different things like season passes. There's a big content update coming here soon for it already with future roadmap stuff. I did not expect to like it as much as I am, and I'm having a really good time so far with Dune Awakening.
Pretty cool.
The other game that I have here that also came out around the same time that is very, very, very cool is a game called The Altars. We covered this in our preview. It's available on, I think, pretty much everything but the Switch at this time. And if you are buying this outright, it will set you back $34.99. This one was put out by the same team that does Frostpunk, 11-Bit Studios. So I've not played Frostpunk myself, but I know it's a pretty grueling experience of making difficult choices. And I think that this game tonally is way more fun. I'm going to list a bunch of different things here I got 5 words written down here that I think have captured things I've thought about while playing The Altars. Disco Elysium, Kojima, Multiplicity, Returnal, and Remedy are all things that I have thought about while playing The Altars. This game is really spectacular in its presentation. It's a base unlike any I've quite seen. It's a giant circular wheel that has a cross-section look very much.
I love wheels.
I know you love a good wheel. It looks a lot like Fallout Shelter or like XCOM a bit, like when you're managing your base, you're zooming out and you're dealing with sizes of like items that you need to fit in together. So for an example, an elevator shaft is 2 spaces wide, where a kitchen might be 4, and this dormitory might be 5. And you have to line these up in the base to where you can traverse and pass through. And early in the game, when you're by yourself, it's kind of got a little bit of like, you know how you feel in FTL when things are just like kind of falling apart all over your ship and you don't know where, like, how to go and take care of it. It's a lot like that at the start. But the thing I find very fascinating with this is like, it's not necessarily like a survival game. Like there's certainly elements you're surviving. It's definitely like there's crafting, but not in the way that you're probably thinking. And there's building in it, but not in the way that you're thinking. It really comes down to like resource management. And it's not generic enough to where it's like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood when you're sending out parties to like bring stuff back. There's like real relationship stuff behind the decisions you're making. So the big thing on this game is you discover a material. I'm sorry, you crash down on a planet. Everybody is in their pods that's on your party are dead. So you find yourself by yourself on an extreme planet that seems very environmentally hazardous to you. You find this material that apparently your company's been researching. It's called radium, and that is what's going to allow you to. They have you basically splice it with the DNA of a sheep, and you make a sheep from it. And then you later find out there's a computer that has your entire memories mapped out. And so when you pull it up, it's an actual timeline, and that's where you learn about your character. Because when you go to these mile markers in your memory, there's significant moments at age points in your life, and you learn about the decisions that this character that you're controlling right now has made that led him to be a part of this mission. So some things start to come up. You get this mysterious kind of elusive man phone call to your base about like, hey, this sucks. Everything's very distorted. You can't see anybody. And they're like, you just need to use your blood. Just go do this. You need help. If you want to survive, you're going to need to do it. So there's a point in your life where you discover like you have an abusive father. Your mom is like a very, very, very damaged woman from this man. And your solution and your storyline that has led you to this mission you're on, you left the house early. At 16, you pieced out. You don't want to be a part of it. You just wanted to bury your head in the sand and run away from it. Well, you find in this your timeline splits when you do this. The computer actually splits your timeline at one of these moments, and it creates this whole new persona of you that you would have become had you taken this path in life. And that's how you choose what you are going to end up making in the game. So as you build out these areas, whether it be a refinery, maybe you need to have ship maintenance done, maybe you want to have a botanist, you will look at your lifeline and you will see that there's splinters where if you went down this path, you would have become a doctor. And it's not too hard to imagine how you would get there. And then on that path, if you focus on that relationship and build things out, life events, but you're also having to have this conversation with yourself about like, well, why didn't you help mom? Or why didn't you push yourself harder here and do these things? And why did you choose to do it? And like other things that happen, like from that Frostpunk standpoint of tough calls, like your first guy that you build, you find out that he actually lost his arm in an accident by looking at the timeline. And so he is now built off of your body, which did not have those physical detriments to it, but he has phantom pain. And so you're like, I'll give you some drugs to help curb that. Well, you start to like dance around creating addiction and things of that nature for a character that leads to accidents and proficiency impacts. But you're assigning your alters to task in the ship, and you're trying to maintain their mental stability while you're navigating from the sun, basically devouring and blowing up and this whole planet you're on. And so you're trying to figure out a way to get out of it. You're making some tough decisions. You're navigating this like ant farm look into all of your personalities trying to coexist with being the same person. So like they all have memories of the same thing you do, but they have life that happens differently from those memories, which is a very interesting concept. The gameplay is really cool.
All right, hey, hang on. So how are you you're recruiting these other versions of yourself to come and join you in the main game, right?
You don't recruit them. There's a computer that you look at the memories, and then there's a station on your ship called the womb, and you basically birth them. You're making a clone. So they get created, and then you have to wake them up and have this really existential conversation of like, I'm being woken up by myself. I have no idea how I got here.
Do you have to go through the process in some way to become those other versions of yourself? Or is that something that you're just like looking on this vast timeline and just grabbing?
Yeah. So the way it plays out, you have a capacity cap on how many of your alters you can have at any given moment, and you can level up your base by dumping resources into it that expand that. And so at the start, everybody has to start with the technician because the ship's broken. And so you go on your timeline and you find somebody who can fix the ship because you don't know how to. And then after that, you're like, I'm not doing this. Like there's some ethical stuff that you're navigating with it. And once you kind of put that to rest, the timeline then becomes more of like it just tells you what the job is. And so if you need a doctor, or if you need a miner or a refiner or any of those that are available right away, you just click on who you want and say alter, and then it just cooks them.
So you do eventually get some choice in which alters you want to pursue and add to your.
And I think that's a really big part of the strategy of you need to think about, like there's ones that I thought would be more interesting to have on my ship, but I ended up picking ones that I probably would have gotten later because I felt I picked the technician first, then I picked the miner because I was trying to get resources to unlock more stuff on the ship, and then I got the doctor or the researcher because then I can expand my tech trees and do more there with it. And then I just added in, because I need a worker that can just handle, because that's the thing in the game. The animations are really cool. Like everything that you do is a time cost, and you wake up every day and you have finite time before you're exhausted. And if you do more when you're exhausted, there's impacts the next day. So you want to start your day and go to bed at like the right window of time. And the idea here is that you have your alters doing all the stuff that you have to do in a day with you, so that you can continually move this whole thing with it. And that's really what it's coming down to. So you want to pick alters that are going to increase things that you need to function first. Like when I play a survival game, it's like, can I breathe? Can I eat? Can I sleep? Those are the big three things you have to check right away. Once those are done, I layer out and start to automate from there. Like, what's going to make this more efficient? What are things I can stop doing and go do more cool shit? Because I can go out and I can work the miner or the mining, but it's going to end up just being like my entire day will go like that. And then I'm exhausted and I didn't really do shit.
Because that's not your version specialty.
No.
Find a version of yourself that is the miner.
You are the captain now, because you were the last person of that mission. So your role becomes organizing the chaos in this. Sure. And that's really what it comes down to. So I think from like, if you dig the strat, like think about building out like in 3 houses when you're like figuring out who should be speccing into what and how you can kind of min max, like even a persona, like the social links through the day. Like it reminds me of that too. It's like, okay, today I need to get these tasks knocked out. I need to make sure that these two resolve their issues they have with one another and don't beat each other's ass again. This thing broke. I got to figure out how to fix that. Like it's kind of a series of unfortunate events that you just have to figure out the most efficient way every day to organize. So it's more of a strategy game, in my opinion, and maybe slightly puzzling than it is like a resource game. Like you are gathering that stuff, but it's literally being done by other people. Like I need this resource. I'm going to go out. I'm going to put pylons down that like bring all the stuff back to my ship. But then I'm just going to fast travel back from that point to my ship and manage it from there. It's like, it's that sort of thing. Which I mean, I'm loving it. It's one of the freshest takes on this genre I've seen in a very long time. And it's just really rad to see these goofy, unlike anything else, games do well. Like when there is a lot of just, slop out there, like it's cool to see some, even if it's not a genre that you like this is a really inventive take on a very well-worn path. And I think that it worked out for him. The voice acting is so good in this game.
Cool. It's cool to see people playing with the form like this. And
yeah, man. So that's what I've been up to. Mostly a lot of Dune and a lot of the alters. I think I'll talk about both of those for a bit. I'll be playing Dune this week if anybody wants to see the base I'm working on.
Pretty cool.
You've been busy, Chase. Tell me about why you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been gaming. Been playing a lot.
It's so back. We are so back, everybody.
So I've got 3 to talk about. One should be pretty quick. I want to do a check-in on To a T. It's a game we talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
You were like you bounced off it pretty quickly.
I did. That was not for me.
And I got to admit, like when I first started playing it, while I did enjoy like some of the charm that the game was giving me, there was some certain aspects where I was like, man, I don't know if this is quite hitting exactly what I'm looking for. And then I cannot remember who said it. I don't know if it was something on Blue Sky or something I read in an article or something I heard from another podcast. But somebody brought up the idea that this is like a kid's cartoon show. And that's where it kind of clicked with me of, oh, yes, that is how it's being presented. Like the game is split up into episodes, and when you play the episodes, they will start the theme song again. Like they'll play the intro again. And at first you're like, why are they doing that? And then you're like, oh well, if it's a kids TV show, of course they play the theme again. Like let's go through it. And you know what? It's still pleasant. I still just watch it. You can skip it if you want, but I end up watching it because I think it's fun and it's like a nice way of setting myself on the adventure that I'm doing. I think it's also changed the way I've played that game. Instead of trying to do multiple episodes a day, now it's, well, I can just do, hey, I have one session, I'm going to play one episode of this thing. It goes by relatively quickly, and I'm just kind of enjoying getting a little story that's going on here. and
Sure.
then we'll pick it up later, and we'll have a good time. And when I've had that new context, which it feels very obvious because it is kind of the way the game is presenting itself, but it wasn't the way I was engaging with it initially,
Yeah.
and it's really made all the difference in me enjoying this game quite a bit. Like I'm having a delightful time going through and trying stuff. I'm getting more into the flying stuff now, so the more of the world is
Oh,
open.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get a unicycle that allows you to go a lot faster because you can't ride a bike. You're T-posing all the time.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you have a unicycle, but you make friends with the bullies, and they all get on their bikes, and you're riding a unicycle right next to them, and you're just going on little adventures. Um, it is a shame you didn't play a little bit longer because you would have unlocked the shop that has oh god, I forgot his name. The Keita Takahashi game from Playdate. The guy who you'd bend up
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah.
down.
Like with the time, with the butterfly and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a shop owner and he's just asleep all the time and he's bent over. But you can just go
Good.
and buy things from his shop and you're like, oh, it's the Playdate guy. Oh, that's cool. So that's been a lot of fun. I think that game is very fun and I'm
Yeah.
having a really good time with it now. I understand why you bounced off it. I'm not telling you to go back and try it again, but I think with this kind of new mindset that I've taken to it, it's become a game that I'm really having a great experience with.
That's awesome, man. I'm not here to deny its charm. I just did not enjoy the work around the charm for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna skip my next one for a second. I'll do that one next. I'll do that one last. But I want to talk about a game to pay Bobby back for
Mm.
telling me about crafting games. I thought I would tell you about another turn-based strategy Gundam game. Bobby, I'm going to tell you about SD Gundam G Generation Eternal.
Why do all these names suck? Every one of your every one of your robot games is some bullshit BD, SDM, Gundam, G Generation externals to the galaxies of time. It's always like, why can't they just not say like Gundams 2.0 or something like why is this what's going on here?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't make the names, but I do.
Well, you should.
So this is a game that's been out for a little while, and
Yeah.
I haven't wanted to play it. And I haven't wanted to play
Wait,
it.
did we talk about this? Not on here, but like in.
No, you and I have never talked about.
Not
this.
like on a preview or anything.
We might have talked about it on. I don't know.
This looks like Super Robot Wars.
I mean, yes, functionally these games are, and I've played SD Gundam G Generation games before.
But this isn't Super Robot Wars.
No, made by a different studio.
Okay.
But it does have very similar mechanics, a very similar grid system to.
Yeah. I'm looking at some screenshots.
It's definitely in the family.
Okay.
So I played SD Gundam G Generation Genesis, which was for PS4.
SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. Okay, I'm with you now. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up.
All the words except the last one are.
Yes, fair. We're there. I made it.
So Genesis is the one that took place. If Bobby, you obviously know this as a huge Gundam fan, but Gundam has the UC or the Universal Century. And that is where a big long timeline of Gundam happens, and all of those things connect to each other in different ways. So,
is this like Super Robot Wars, where it's like a lot of different robots from different eras and like TV shows?
This game is, but the Universal Century itself
is not. But the game is
one long timeline.
Okay.
Stuff happened in this time, and then this thing happened, and then that thing happened, and then that thing happened. And they all have their own robots because time moved on and they developed better and better technology. Then there are also AUs, which are alternative universes. And those are the Gundam shows that don't have anything to do with this one big, long canon timeline.
Can I just ask, so just help my brain here, okay? So this is basically the main trilogy and then the expanded universe. Star Wars.
I would say it's canon versus non-canon Star Wars.
Okay.
because there also are expanded universe things that are still in the Universal Century. There's things that are not like a main Gundam TV show that has
This is
50
okay.
episodes.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, I get it.
But here's like, oh, here's like I mean, Star Wars doesn't really. I mean, Star Wars has this where here's like a thing that's not canon. We're gonna tell this little story over here and do this thing, but you're gonna see Star Wars things in it. You're gonna know like, oh, there's like a stormtrooper equivalent here, and they've got
Yeah.
lightsaber equivalents. Maybe they're not called exactly the same thing, but like
Laser
it's the
swords.
Star Wars universe. Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what the alternative universes are. Something like Gundam Wing, something like
Yeah.
Iron Blooded Orphans. Like those are they have Gundams in them. They are not. They have like something different in the universe. They're not tied to the big long canon thing. And so G Generation Genesis, the one I played on the original Switch and PS4, that was just that one big long Universal Century timeline. And
Mm-hmm.
then they made another one called G Generation Cross Rays, and that was just alternative universes. So just the alternate ones. You didn't have any of the mainline stuff in there. And they've
Yeah.
made a bunch going way back. And I played a couple of those too. So this is the newest one of those. And Eternal says, what if we put all that shit in one game? And I'm like, that sounds great. You're gonna put all the Gundams, the ones from the shows I love, the ones from the shows I think are just okay. Some of the shows I don't like, but I like the machines. They're just all in one game. It's all here. Fucking fantastic. This is what we've wanted. I get to put my
Oh,
tall
he doesn't
geese
like it.
next to my Quinn Mantha. You know how much I love those two
I know
things.
you
It's
like
gonna be
Quinn
great.
Mantha. I know you
Yes,
do.
I mean I've got here.
The green
Quinn
one,
Mantha,
the
right
little
here.
short green guy. Yes, see, I knew
Quinn Mantha.
it.
Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
stupid. I
I love the
know.
Quinn Mantha. I love the Quinn Mantha. Anyway, that all sounds great, right? It's like the ultimate one of these games.
Does it sound great?
Yeah, well, it
Maybe.
sounds great to me. Here is this one little problem.
The game sucks, right?
It's worse than that. It's a phone gotcha game. What if they took your perfect game and they said, what if we charged you little bit by little bit and put it on a device that's not fun for playing video games? And I go, God damn it.
I'd say you played yourself. That's what I'd say.
I got played. You're definitely correct on that. So I wanted to avoid this game for a long while, and I did. And eventually I thought, well, I don't know. Let's just open it and see what happens.
On your
If
phone?
it's trash. I'm playing this on my iPad, pretty exclusive.
Yeah.
But let's just play it a little bit, see what it's like, and see what's there. I'm proud to say I have not put a single cent into this game, and I don't plan to. I think they do a relatively good job of giving you enough content to not feel like you need to spend any money on this. I could totally see how you could be spending some money.
Do you think it's a bad thing to spend money on a thing you like though? Like if you like the money, like if you like the game and you want to spend some money on it?
I think it's bad because I don't want them to make this game on this device. I want them to make a real one on a real console, and giving them money makes it feel like I'm approving them going in this direction. And I was glad that they didn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I think if you put this game with most of these mechanics into a console video game, I'd be in heaven. I think there's a lot of stuff in here that is really well done, that takes a lot of the formula that we've seen in past SD Gundam games and polishes it in such a way that I'm having a great time. They put the peanut butter and the jelly of the AU and the Universal Century together, and I'm like, this is fantastic. But the parts that hold it back are the parts of it being a gacha game, and not just a gacha game in that it is, has the capacity to ask you for money for different things and try to piecemeal some of that stuff out. But the mechanics of the gacha game of being on a mobile platform, the mechanics of being a gacha game in that it's an always online thing, that I'm constantly the game is hitching up so it can sync to a server to send me something back. The way the game just feels so slow and nothing feels snappy and fun. It just kind of feels like a slow, muddy, jittery mess, and that's because it's just constantly checking in with a server. It's not something that you get when you play one of the SD Gundam games for a console. and those things, the way they piecemeal out things that you would have just gotten normally in the regular video game, um, is a very frustrating experience to me. It's like, God, it's like it's not enough to just develop one unit and then to build that unit and gain levels in it. Now I've got to get multiples of that kind of unit so I can feed them in, so I can do the limit breaks, so then they can become an even better unit. And some of that stuff is just like, this gotcha slop you put into this video game that I really like, because on the other end it is still a really strong uh, turn-based strategy game. They have a lot of different
Sure.
mechanics of the types of weaponry that you use, the type of terrain that you're on, the distance you are from an enemy, getting the right pilots with the right suits. I think a lot of that stuff is still strong and even built upon in here, where there's some really cool ways they find synergies that you can build in and build a really strong team. And then they also just say, and you know, if you spent a little money, you'd also get this. And also, hey, the game's going to run like shit because it's on an iPad and it's checking in with a server. And you go,
Could you
this
imagine
sucks.
playing a game like this with the mouse function on the Switch?
You wouldn't even need the mouse function. They put a game like this on the
Well, no, I'm
Switch.
saying like Super Robot Wars with the mouse seems like it would be a much better experience than having to thumbstick through
Mm,
all the menus, like clicking, dragging.
maybe I don't know. I've never had a problem navigating the menus of those kinds of games,
Sure.
but they are also on PC. I know G
Yeah.
Generation Cross Rays was on PC, so I'm people can say whether the mouse controls felt better in that or not. I
Sure.
bet it feels just fine. Um, but it's a real bummer to me that I'm not getting to play what essentially is the game I want, um, because they think they can make more money from a gotcha. And you know what? They're probably right. I'm sure they're making way more money on this than
Well,
they've
I
made on
mean,
any of these previous
your
games.
Fire Emblem Heroes receipts would
Oh,
tell them differently.
absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
like when people, I think that's like my whole thing. Like, there's I know that there's problems with the approach that we've seen with mobile gotcha games. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
here to say that it's not predatory to a degree, but I also think that, like, I've put money into some of those games, like not a lot, but I kind of feel like, hey, I'm digging this. Like, here, I'll get a better quality of life from it. But at the
Sure.
same time, like,
Oh, I played this game for 30 hours or
yeah,
something.
here's
I
like,
it deserves my $10. And I
yeah,
could totally understand that
yeah,
argument. I've made that same justification of myself when I've played Fire Emblem Heroes, but there does come a point where you just go, this feels empty to me.
sure,
It feels like I'm throwing money down the drain to get pictures of anime ladies or robots, and
yeah,
or both. And
oh yeah,
and I don't feel good about any of this, and I wish I was playing a proper video game instead.
sure.
And it is so close to a
Are you
proper
still gonna
video
play it?
game. I am, because I still have not felt compelled to put money in it.
Sure,
And I've been able to build up a team only using the free currency and the units that you can just unlock by playing the game. Basically, you can unlock any of the units that you want in the game just by playing the game, but there are also special versions of them that you can roll the gotcha thing and get the special rare versions that come with a
cool,
special rare pilot that
sure,
have even bigger and better abilities. And I've gotten a couple of those just through the free rolls that I've gotten. And so it's kind of cool to get the Unicorn Gundam in destroy mode with Banisher Links, and like, okay, that's cool. And he gets the
absolutely,
EX attack, and that's awesome. And I've gotten Sharzaku with the super rare Char version, the
mm,
ultra rare Char version. I was like, okay, that's great. And those units are really good. They're better than the units you normally get. But I am still able to get those units that I like, and without spending the money. They just aren't quite as good. Anyway, I'm liking it.
yeah,
I just, every time I pick it up, I go, this would be so much more fun
yeah,
if I was playing it on a Switch. And here's the worst part, is that I didn't finish Cross Rays. I still have Cross Rays, and I could just go back and play that. The problem is I don't like the AUs as much as I like the Universal Century. So when I play Cross Rays, I don't get to play with all my favorite guys. I just get to play with a few that I like. So there's a reason I'm playing this instead.
Yeah, it's
I
fair.
kind of hate it. I kind of hate it. All right, very quickly, I'll go through my last one. We've talked about it a little bit before. This was a game that showed up on the backlog wheel, and that is Earthbound.
Yeah, you were
Uh,
enjoying it.
yeah, Earthbound is a game I pretty famously, I don't know if it's famously, but I've talked about it on the show before. I've tried, and I like everything about it except the playing of the video game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic JRPG. I love the translation and the localization that's in there. All the NPCs have really funny or interesting things to say. The game is weird. The game is in a setting you don't traditionally get from a JRPG, especially not at the time that it came out. It's just so funky and fun. The music, the visuals,
Yeah,
perfection.
had a
Um,
huge impact.
and when I play it, I go, this feels punishing in a way. It's not active time battle exactly, but there are ways that the system, like if an enemy hits you with a big attack, your health just kind of keeps rolling down, and that's supposed to be a way to they present it as a way to help you. It's like, oh, if you
Right.
eat food while it's ticking down like that, you can actually heal yourself from what should have been a fatal hit. But more often than not, it just feels like playing a mini game, a contextual mini game of go through the menus to stop yourself from dying, which doesn't feel that good to me. And I still just feel like it's a game that wants you to grind a little bit more than I'd like to.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I fell off it early. Is that I just was not having
I
fun
mean,
playing
I
the
mean,
campaign.
look, that's you've tried in the past. I think
Yeah.
you tried again here, and
Well, so this time I'm having a better time.
oh, sorry,
And
sorry, sorry, sorry.
yeah, and I'll tell you why. It's because I found a ROM called Earthbound with mod menu,
Oh,
and I'll tell you, having a menu of mods to affect your characters basically at any time helps that game a lot. So
fair.
now after every battle, I can just heal up all my guys. I don't have to eat all the different foods and constantly go back to the inn to heal up. I don't have to. I can just pull up and grab an item instead of having to go back to a shop and spending my money to get it. And all of these things, yes, they cheapen the game a little bit, but I'm just getting through it now. I'm getting to
Yeah,
enjoy the parts of the game that I want to enjoy. I'm getting to talk and do the dialogue stuff that I like. I'm getting to see the cool visuals and animations they're putting in the game, and I'm not just banging my head against a wall to get levels. I
sure.
can even just go in and assign whatever my level needs to be, or just what my
That's
stats should
cool.
be. And it's been great. It's been great to do that. There was one time where I thought I broke the game because I didn't get I didn't catch the trigger to trigger an event that was supposed to happen. And I went, oh God, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, okay, well, I can give myself the item that I'm supposed to need for this. Okay, the item's supposed to give me like a party member guy, a temporary party member who's going to be able to trigger this. And then I had the item, but it wouldn't take it. Like the temporary party member, it's a little monkey that likes gum, and it's like I tried to give him the gum and he wouldn't take it. And I'm like, okay, well, shit. Oh, the mod menu. I can just add the monkey to my party. I don't need to have
Oh,
the monkey the game gives me. I can just add the monkey to my party. And I did that, and I was like, okay, so now I get the trigger right. And it was no, 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 no. I don't know what you want, but you don't have the trigger yet. And I go, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? Because you needed this. You needed this monkey to play to blow a bubble to get on a plesiosaur, a dinosaur thing that was going to take you across the water to the next area. And I have no idea how to get to the next area. I'm missing out on this because I can't get this trigger. And then I also realized, oh, there is just a no clip. I can just turn on no clip in the mod menu. I can walk across the water. I can get to the next area. I don't need this fucking dinosaur. So it's
God,
it's also been a fun little puzzle of
what
if
the
the game
break?
does fuck me, how can I unfuck me?
That's
And
fair.
I've just been having a really great time enjoying that game on my terms. And I haven't gone back to it for a couple weeks now because I've been busy with some other games like Tuati
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Gundam and watching movies and shit like that. But I'm always excited to go back, and now it's no longer this burden of, oh God, I've got to grind to be able to play Earthbound. Now it's just I can go play Earthbound and I can have a great time. And so I've really been enjoying it. I think I'm probably somewhere like between a third and a half to halfway through the game.
That's awesome.
So I know I will eventually finish it, but I'm not in any rush to get it done super soon. So I know we took off this month for the wheel. We might take off next month for the wheel as
That's fair too.
Because
it's coming up.
I've just got stuff that's going on that I'm pretty comfortable with. So that's basically what I've been doing. I do have the day off tomorrow for the holiday. I've got a big weekend coming up as well where I get to just kind of hang out. And what I might end up doing is playing the Bravely Default.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear.
Grab that.
Yeah, you should check it out.
I'm at least interested and curious to see how that functions on the Switch 2 with only the single screen. But it's do I want to start another big RPG that I've already played, or keep playing the RPGs that I have not?
It'd be nice to play your new Switch.
That's true. It's always good to have a reason to play the Switch. I could just go back to SD Gundam G Generation Cross Rays. That's also on my Switch. I could totally play that.
You could do that, and you probably would do that.
I should do many things.
That was Dune Awakening, The Alters, the Next Fest demo recap, Earthbound, SD Gundam G Generation, Eternal, and what was the other game that we covered for you? To a T. That's right, To a T. This week we have had a big week so far, in my opinion. We had a good friend of the show for extended view of Monster Train 2. We went for damn near 2 hours and got to the very end.
Casual Monday yet.
Yeah, longest one and probably ever, unless we had like a longer one with like Portal one night. But I think that's it.
I don't think so.
But Pierce was a real chap. Came over, stayed up late past his East Coast time.